We're live. Hey guys. Let's see. It's time. It's Friday. We got the fancy earrings on. Let's see. Bad Betty Designs. Hey guys. Sorry, I'm trying to add her. I'll go cross-eyed. I apologize. And let's hope my phone.
I got the fancy earrings on too.
Beto, you're here. I love you. Thank you for being here.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you or see you.
Oh. Hi guys. Hi guys. Where is Sophie? Sophie, my love.
Are you there?
Dun, dun, dun.
I see some of the comments though.
So.
All right. I think I have to leave and come back. Oh, wait.
Hey! Okay. I was adding you again. Perfect. Hi. I am trying to get my phone to settle into the... Okay. Hey guys. I'm so excited. All right. Oh my God. So, this is the coolest day ever. For one, do you guys know what's going on today? Let me just explain. Today, yes, hold on, my phone's gonna fall. I know, I'm all mood grinding it up.
There we go.
Today is actually the 1-year anniversary for Welding Women Syndicate. So, woohoo! Right?
Happy anniversary!
Cool. I did not know that we were gonna make it this far, to be quite honest. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. All right, you guys, she's here. You guys are here. Let's go into this. Somebody is yelling me on here. Hey, PST glows. It's not time for you to jump in, mister. Anyhow.
The comments are like fading out, so you're going to have to keep up with them.
They're trying to get into the live right now. All right, you guys, my name is Tiffany. I am the founder of Welding Women Syndicate, and today is our 1-year anniversary, so that's super huge, right? And I'd like to introduce to you Sophie with her gorgeous glass. She's coming straight from Canada, you guys. So cool. And the coolest thing about Sophie, not the coolest, but she like embodies everything cool. I promise you. Every time I look at your page or every time we talk about something, it has something to do with custom something. Like you completely embody the custom culture. So I love this. Hold on. Let me just give some love real quick to my leopard.
Come on, right?
We can't see it too much, but hey. Not the FR clothing we're expecting. Now is it? But thank you. I appreciate you for being here tonight.
I mean, I think I'm pretty honored to be here on your 1-year anniversary.
Oh, I know.
Come on.
It's so cool. I love it. The last time I think we were doing this, you know, we're always talking about outfits. It was for the Rosie the Riveter photo.
I was going to say the video that we did.
Yes. I know.
So we did this video that basically was how women can dress up and still look like a woman, but still weld and be amazing or do whatever. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's in your highlights. It's in mine's highlights as well. But so it was a whole bunch of welders across North America. There were some Canadians and Americans that all jumped on.
Yeah.
And so we were like comparing outfits. So getting ready, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing this dress. What do you wear?
I think, weren't we in the middle of COVID, like the very beginning of COVID?
Oh, hell yeah. That was like early last year, like when things just started going like completely bonkers.
Yes, it was like the most perfect timing because it was just something pleasant in the midst of all this chaos, right?
Maybe we should have waited because we needed a lot more pleasantness.
No, maybe we should just do it again. But that is part of the reason why we are dressing up tonight, just because we want to take a moment to celebrate women, which we always do here at the Welding Women Syndicate. And also, what we wear, you guys, does not define anything. It just means that we want to flex, we want to look sexy, and we're coming to you looking beautiful tonight. So that's why we're dressed this way tonight. And hold on, these are scrap monkey earrings.
Nice. I'm wearing islands.
Oh, let me see. Those are beautiful. I know. I love the fact that we like
Right?
chose small business, baby.
Matches my ring. Come on, this girl's got to
Love
match.
it.
Like my motorcycle matches my javelin because it's important. A
Yes.
girl's got to match.
Girl, okay, so much I want to talk about. First and
Oh no.
I was
Focus.
just reading, I know. All right. I was just reading up on your article on Auto Body Source, and I read it before, but I was like trying to give me some good fuel to talk about things to talk tonight.
Yeah.
And you have a very cool story from the very beginning. You know, I always talk about how the heck did you get into wrenching and motorcycles and welding. So will you kind of tell me that story?
Yeah. So my first car I ever bought, I was 15, was a 81 Pontiac Acadian. For those who don't know what that is, it's not even a real Chevette. It's a Chevette wannabe. Okay? No, the clone of the Chevette, because the Chevette was too cool. Couldn't afford that one at 15. So, yeah. So I bought the Pontiac Acadian and a Chevette for parts. We brought it in the garage, and my dad is extremely talented and stubborn. I don't know where I got the stubborn from. So he does a lot. He would buy cars that were wrecked when we were kids, rebuild them, and those would be the family vehicle for years. So you would pay $1,000 for a car that was 3 years old, but the insurance had totaled it. So you rebuild it, cost you maybe a couple thousand, and you end up with a car for $5,000, $10,000 that your family can somewhat trust. So I bought these two cars. We made one car out of it. And I ended up painting it cherry black. That's right. And people still talk about that car. They're like, yeah, there was this like brown, maroon, it changed colors. I'm like, my Chevette. My Chevette wannabe. That's right. So I discovered very quickly that I would prefer driving than drinking any day. So I basically stopped drinking. Not that I was a big drinker, but you know, might have been a few party days in there. And then, you know what? Those Pontiac Acadians, they suck. They're really not reliable. They're really not. I would be out all night driving around, and the car would, like, the distributor cap would get wet on the highway. So it would just, you know, run out on me. Yeah. So I learned what a distributor cap was. Yeah. And then it spiraled.
Start wrenching very quickly when you have to get on the side of the road.
Yep. I don't play the damsel in distress very well.
Yeah.
So, and I discovered that I really like cars. I like being in the garage. I like being able to do something with your hands, to see something like when I remember to this day, and let me tell you, 15 was not yesterday. I remember to this day my dad's face, and I'm like, I wanted like this cherry, Dad. Like, look how it's like brown, and I'm putting it in the light, and I'm like, but look at you. And my dad's going, You know it's a Pontiac Acadian, right? I'm like, but it's my first car, so who cares?
You're at that beautiful stage still.
I'm still kind of there, I think. Yeah.
Love it.
So I paid in my Javelin, which my husband bought for me for my Valentine's Day gift, 2009. Jump like many, many years. And I painted it. I couldn't find an orange that I liked. So I painted it to match my nail polish bottle.
I love it. I swear you were always color coordinated. That your motorcycle matches it. You always have a matching outfit. Like, I absolutely love this. You are like an experience. You're not just like a woman. You're like, I look good, I smell good, I feel good. It's an experience, everybody.
That's just because you only see the good part. Oh, when I'm like completely miscoordinated, that like people are going blind, they're putting sunglasses on. I don't post that shit.
I know you're wearing socks right now, so I do know.
I saw her when she posted pictures of her shoes. I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing my dirty socks with my dress.
You know,
so, yeah.
Honestly, it's that type of honesty that I just love about you. We've had way too many conversations. You know way too much. So I think she knows just about every man I've dated in the past 2 years. We don't even want to talk about it. But,
yeah. No, we won't. No.
But no, she has. Hey, speaking of.
And it's as a kid, I always remembered, so I would never wear pink, like never, because all I would hear all day is like, wow, like you're wearing pink. Isn't that kind of weird for you? And that's all I would hear like all day because
Are you
people were
not a
still
pink fan?
used. I wasn't then, but it wasn't the color that I liked. It was it wasn't the color that I did not like. It was all the everybody thinking because I like being a tomboy and like as an adult, I own my own chainsaw. I cut wood with my dad. Like I I can get dirty as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't wear pink. Like that doesn't go together.
How?
Like, oh my God. No. So it wasn't the pink, the color per se. And it took me a long time, therapy perhaps, to discover that it wasn't pink I didn't like. It was all of the feedback of like, all you would hear is you're wearing pink, you're wearing pink. Yeah, I am.
The
I would
idea
never wear
behind
dresses younger either.
Yeah, I think
Well, for
the
a
idea
bit.
behind it. You know what I mean? It's funny you say that because I remember in one job, I'm not a pink fan. I absolutely don't necessarily. My favorite color is actually blue. But I think that when you come across any woman who is unorthodox in like their lifestyle, they just assume that you're not gonna like pink because pink is like supposed to be feminine. Let me tell you something right here, sister. My grandpa's house was pink. He was a man. It had nothing to do with it. He just loved it.
It doesn't. And at one point in time, I actually read like years later, again as a young adult, I was doing research to buy a baby gift for someone, and they were having a boy. And I ended up like, the whole pink, blue, yellow, green debate. So I ended up buying something, I think, blue. But before buying something blue, I actually looked up to see like, and supposedly way back in the days, like way before our time, pink was the guy's color. Blue was the girl's color. Somewheres along the way, society decided it wasn't it and switched it. And it was the same thing. So I wouldn't wear dresses. So I had a bit where, fun fact, I did ballet for like 6 years and I could do the tippy toe and the whole, like serious, hardcore. I did modeling as a younger age.
Well, you're still doing that. Come on now. Every time I see if anybody knows how to get their damn angles, like you, Lord, you're always beautiful. Like I can't even with you.
See,
like,
how could you not? Like, really, this is why I have a swollen head. When I get home, I can't even walk in the door. This is why I have to work from home now. It's not because of COVID. I can't fit in the freaking door frame anymore. No.
You know what? You own that big head because if you don't love your darn self, who the hell will, to be quite honest?
I think we all have parts that we don't like. Sure. I'm getting better, like most. I'm getting better. But yeah, so it took me a long time to find that balance to say, it's okay for me to like dressing as let's call it as a woman in a dress, and picking the clothes that I like, not picking clothes based on the comments that I'm going to get from people. And that being said, on that same, let's call it rabbit hole.
Go.
We all know this is coming.
Yes.
So I've done some things that perhaps OSHA would definitely not approve of. Like when I was rebuilding the Javelin, there was this tiny hole in the back bumper.
Yes.
And I was in the house and Dad fell asleep. So I went in the garage and there was just this tiny hole. So I just started welding on it. Well, I came home from the office and I had my heels on and a skirt. And the scar fell on my feet. So I have scar to prove that it's not smart. That being said, typically, I assure you, when I'm in a garage, I'm not topless like some car people posted pictures of. Women welding, what was it, stick? If I'm not mistaken, on top of it all? Yeah, sure.
Save the tatas, ladies. Don't do it.
Not the time.
Oh.
No. There's a time to wear a dress. That article in Auto Body Source. It's certainly not the first time that somebody captures a picture of me in a dress upside down under my steering wheel fixing something, or well,
You're
it's just a
under the
bolt on the
car.
exhaust. Wait,
Yeah,
I could
you're
just put
under
it
the
in.
car. I love that. You know what? That just shows like your full love for your vehicles and just being able to get down and dirty regardless of what you're wearing. Because I remember a time I was going to church and we got a flat, and I was literally in a white like long skirt, right? And nobody knew how to change a flat, and I was like, all right, sister, grab my I was like, give me a ponytail, put my, because my hands were already dirty, because you know
Yeah.
my ass already got in there, and I was like, tie up my skirt, I'm going under. And they looked at me like, are you kidding me? No, I mean, what were we gonna do? Sit here all day? You know, like I lived in the country, so really we'll change it right here. You guys are all gonna get lesson in changing the tire. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
not going to take us long. Don't worry, we'll get it done.
and they're like,
But
no,
then
no, no. And thankfully somebody came by and they ended up helping change it. But
there's a time for doing quick repair, and there's a time for being stupid. And I mean, stick
sure.
topless in a bikini? Seriously, people? No, that's not what I look like when I'm in the garage. No.
No, you know what? And it's interesting because this is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And
oh, yeah, that's true.
we know what we're talking about. We're not necessarily going to throw that out, but it was a very popular welder who decided it was cute to exploit a woman by having her, stick welding topless and, like
working on his car.
There's a time and place.
Or was it out of his pickup? I didn't even see the picture, but I did hear about it from 3 people today.
Ugh, what? I cringe. I'm like thinking like my arms are so scarred, just from stick welding. I cannot even imagine my boobs. Sorry, guys.
But like, whether it be your boob, your neck, like, come on.
It hurts. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I have scars all over. It's not like I didn't choose to have them. I weld. I can't help it,
We might be a little accident prone, maybe.
Well, it's part of the trade. You work with metal, you work with cars, you work with these things are going to happen. You cannot get away, or you protect yourself as much as possible. But
I was going to say, like, I could tell you horror stories of stuff that I've done in the garage, and I was like, I don't need a glove. What do you mean? I'm just cutting this manifold into, or this exhaust. Oh yeah, that's where that scar from my thumb almost being cut off came from. Right. The grinder kind of split.
We all have them, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got there, but I don't even care. Like, the time and place, you guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to,
protecting. So it took me a very long time to learn to be comfortable in a dress and in my heels, and go in the garage and be okay with the comments, or be comfortable enough to be able to answer the comments that you get, because you're a car girl. Yeah. So, what are you doing in a dress? Yeah, no, it happens a lot.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I guess back in the day, I can't get these stupid comments off. Back in the day, there wasn't really much option, I think it's funny how, like, our fashion has evolved. Like, women were always in dresses, and they really didn't have any choice. And then, like, sometimes there was pants, but I know a lot of the times that was very much frowned upon in my family. Like, I was always in a dress. The only reason why I wear certain things that I do now is just because of the heavy, hot metal that I deal with, So,
well, you have no choice. Like, oh my God,
dresses are expensive, and I don't want to ruin them.
Yeah, that too. Like, when I ride my motorcycle, I am one of those all gear all the time kind of person. I went down last fall.
Yes.
Yeah, I went down last fall, and from what the witnesses said, I kind of rolled diagonally, like couple telephone poles length in town, and the bike skidded the other way, couple poles long. And yeah, I have some road rash. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for my full face, if it wasn't for my jeans, for my jacket, for my gloves, you know what? I would be getting a new skin right about now. And I think skin is one of my best features.
Well, yeah. Yes. I
It
saw
works great on me.
saw the one that you had on your stomach. Ouch.
Well, that was from that fall. So I had some on my stomach, on my knee, on my elbow.
Hmm.
Were the worst. If I hit my elbow just the wrong spot, it's like, yeah, I think yeah. Meh.
Even still now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember when that happened. Yeah. That's when you went and redid the paint on your motorcycle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry,
Now,
the dog wanted to come in. Um, yes. So
you
I
have
had done this orange with mermaids and then I crushed it
ah.
and then the new paint didn't work out like I thought at all. Like it didn't work.
Was that the lace?
Yes. So I'm obsessed with Pearl and Guns and Hoses. Chic, if you're on here, I know you're laughing at me right now. He hates Pearl and I love it. I
I
think it
love
just
Pearl
like
too.
adds such a beautiful thing to a paint. Like when the sun hits it, it changes. And I just, okay. There we go. We're getting our corporate look now.
We're about to get into it.
Yeah, so when the sun hits it, I really like the sparkle and the color change and the different aspect and stuff that you can get it.
Yeah.
But I also love old school, like people that spray through lace. That is like astounds me. And the stuff that they do with like, give them a roll of tape and lace.
Yes.
Like just stand back. Like it's amazing. So I tend to spray through lace, but add some pearl in there somewhere.
Right.
His life's not complicated enough.
Ow. Now, I'm curious, how come you decided not to go into full professional career?
Mm-hmm.
Why we went corporate as opposed, and I get it, money or opportunity or whatever, but I'm curious.
I think a bit of everything. So when I was younger, I remember my dad asking me if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blessed enough with parents that no matter what I did, if I was making an honest living, they were happy. Like they were so supportive in whatever crazy shit I came up with. I live in New Brunswick, for those who know Canada, and I moved to Montreal, which at that point was like a 13-hour drive at one point, and I literally moved 2 weeks on a coin flip.
Oh, wow.
That's how I decided to move to Montreal, and I flipped a quarter, and 2 weeks later I was in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yeah, Mom, Dad, I think I'm moving to Montreal now. They're like, you're 18, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like legal and stuff now. Bye, love you.
You're out. Oh my God, I love it.
So my parents would have been super supportive of anything I chose to do. Mm-hmm. When I was deciding my career path, counselors would never encourage someone to go, oh my God, in the trades. Like, you're so smart. Why would you go in trades? Like, ugh, really? And as a girl wanting to go work on cars, yeah, no, the counselors, that was a huge no-no.
Yeah.
So the counselors kind of speak badly about it. So you start having this stereotypical image building in your head. And then you think, I'm in New Brunswick. The winter is cold, miserable. Cement is cold. Do I want to be like opening a garage door all day long when it's freaking minus 30 outside?
You do have miserable winters.
And I remember thinking I'm like, yeah, no, imagine as a mechanic in New Brunswick or in any of the eastern places, you go work on your brake. You put it up on a hoist. How much snow do you think falls on a mechanic a day? Dirty, full of sand, salt, gross, oily.
But you can do it at home willingly.
But at home it has time to dry, and I can pick when I want to work on it.
Right. And
I don't open the door 5 times a day.
That's true.
Car goes in, we do what we need to, car goes out.
No, you have very intense weather out there.
And I think if I had really wanted it then, it would have hit me that I can move. and I can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there was a part of me then anyways that didn't want it that bad, because at that point in time, I wasn't willing to sacrifice to do that move, to get it done. So, and then later I started having health issues. And then I remember thinking when all of those started, like at 25, at one point, I didn't think I was going to be able to work full time. Yeah. Yeah, we had, yeah. And I remember thinking, like, it's a good thing I didn't go in the trades, because what would I be doing? I'd have to go on disability.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I can't go to disability at 25. Like, this is demented.
Right.
And really, now at 46, I think back and going, well, if you would have went in the trade out of high school, you would have gotten your degree, you would have gotten your experience, you could be managing a shop, you could be working in an office. It doesn't mean in the trades that you're always on the floor either. There's different levels in automotive industry. None of that ever hit me then, and nobody ever mentions any of that stuff. Yeah, that you can move along. There's different stuff that needs to get done. Yeah. Nobody talks about that.
No, they do not.
They don't. Like, no. Oh, wait, there's office work? Yeah, there's office work in selling car parts. Pretty sure.
There's a job for everybody when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? And I laugh because, like, we talk about this all the time. You don't necessarily have to be in the nuts and bolts of, working in a vehicle or in the welding industry. You don't have to be that pipe welder. You don't have to be that painter. You could be the business owner. You could be the manager. You could be the advocate. You could be the sales manager. However, because like when I go and look at what you're doing, you are still so fully encompassed in everything. You're doing everything now. But at the same time, things happen for a reason, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. Things happen for a reason. I didn't necessarily get fully immersed into it until I was 30 years old. So I have babies and I have life experience.
And you needed a drastic life event for that to propulse that out as well. And yeah, I don't know. Some days I still look back and I'm like, do you know what? If I would have started then, I could be doing so much more now, but in the trades. Because obviously I love being in a garage. I hate how it's downplayed. And I work, for those who don't know, I work for in the payment industry for the biggest payment company in Canada. I've been working for them for 18 years. So the cats want in and out here. I think they want in. I think they want to get in. I'm going to put them on the camera so get them to interview. Why did you choose the Bemrum Zoo? No. So I work in the finance. It's considered in the finance world. I've been here for 18 years, actually, next week, that I've been for the same company. I've moved along, got it promoted. I've gotten some awesome managers. I make a really good pay with amazing benefits. Do you know what? I know some people that are mechanics that had better benefits than me and had better pay than me. And they worked in the same province as me.
About that, though. Like, honestly,
I was always
never change my path in life. Like, there is an absolute reason why I have done the things the way that I have done to bring me here right now.
Absolutely.
I would never change it.
I wouldn't.
It's not necessarily all money propelled for me. You know what I mean? It's more, I've had a ton of money in my life, and I wasn't necessarily the most happiest person.
Agreed. So, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. As a kid, even younger, I wanted that financial stability. I wanted to be able to say, I know where my next grocery bill is coming from. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And the trades are so undersold that the way that they're selling it is you're making like minimum wage. You're doing nothing.
Now
The
it's
best.
interesting seeing that perspective also in Canada, because it's not necessarily that different here in the States. You know what I mean? You have a
Not from
pretty
what I
good
hear.
pulse on, the people in the States as well. I try to do the same for here in Canada, and it's not any different. It's like we're less than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it may seem somewhat different, especially if you base your whole entirety of knowledge just on social media, because we are able to see
Yeah.
each other and we think that that's our world. But once you step out of it, people look down on you.
Mm.
Even with like with myself, I have a degree and I have certifications and I have business
You were a
ownership.
teacher. You were, yeah.
You say that one word of being in the trades and they're like,
Oh, you're a welder. Oh,
yes, exactly, as if you're less than somebody.
the tone always changes.
Yes.
Oh, you work in the construction. Oh,
Oh, and
yeah.
that's even with your own colleagues, and
Yeah.
your academia, when you're speaking to people who are, they chose a different life path, and you're like, I make more money than you, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
But you get dirty. Like, oh my God.
I love it.
Imagine the horror.
I know, and I will rub it all over you too. It's also right. It's so weird, and that's exactly the reason why I love to have these conversations, because it basically normalizes this, because you come from a different perspective, and I've come from a different perspective. I'm just here now, but I'm in a different aspect actually now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's just people don't necessarily understand. We have to talk about this to make sure that it becomes a normal conversation, because people, I think it's just basically lack of knowledge, or because they haven't done it, they don't understand the passion involved. I was there being in an office, I was becoming a stockbroker. I did the insurance, I've done office jobs, bored to death, and I know. I'm not talking shit about the job, but
I'm not. Hey, I love my job. I love my manager. I love my teammates. Do you know what? Some days I'd rather be in the garage. Okay, many days. It is what it is.
Yes.
I'm sitting down answering emails. Yeah. Really?
You know what?
It's not a bad thing.
No, it is not. It's not at all. And we do the things because we have to do the things to make, to adults now. But now, when I do the emails, they're welding related. I make sure now, like I've changed the path now. Like I had things are just different. They're just different.
I remember, like, through social media, I met up, so to speak. I became kind of acquaintance with this lady in, I want to say, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So she's called the Mileage Bully, for any of you who's interested. Mm-hmm. And I think she's Navy as well. She was riding across the country, like I don't know how many times she's ridden across the country as she assembles motorcycles. So she wanted to start her own riding school. Cool. She started it this spring. Mm-hmm. So spring of 2021, she started it. Awesome. And when she posted something, at one point in time, she said, you know what? I'm one of the first Black women. She was the first Black woman in North America to have a riding school.
Love it.
And I was like that's cool. Like I'm so happy for her. But I'm like, and this is going to sound bad, and I'm hope it doesn't come out like that in the beginning, but I'm like, what does it matter if you're Black? And ironically, I think she might have heard me. No, she didn't. I said it out loud. She's in Virginia. She's like, it matters because others see that it can be done. Yes. And it comes down, and I remember reading her comment and thinking, do you know what? If somebody would have said when I was younger, you don't have to move. You can if you want to. When you get tired, you can move along to different roles within the trades.
Yes.
You don't. If you like it, stay forever. If you don't, there's other jobs that need to get done that you don't always have to be in the cement floor opening the garage door 8 times a day. That was never said. If that was something a counselor or somebody would have said, then maybe it would have started the train of thoughts that, okay, do you know what? There's options. I could still do something I love.
Yes.
And, right? And I remember at one point in time talking to my dad, And he said something about like, and I'm like, I couldn't do it on a deadline. Like that would take the fun out of it. Like, oh, you have to have this car done for tomorrow.
Ah, yes.
Like, yeah, no. And I'm like, oh yeah, fenders like bent. Yay.
Yeah.
Like, whoop to do. Like, really?
Yes.
And then you look and yeah, there's restoration. No restoration where it was being done in New Brunswick back then, let me tell you.
Really?
Oh, hell no. Yeah, no. New Brunswick is the poorest province in the country. And I'm sure it was then too, though I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
There certainly was not, like, it was kind of normal to see houses with tar papers with no siding or like finished, because why would you spend money there when you can spend it on groceries?
Sure.
Or
So
you could gas.
Disposable income for that type of activity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, but then you're thinking, okay, but there were options, but maybe if someone would have mentioned that, maybe I would have looked at it differently. Maybe I would have said, you know what? I can do some repair work now, and then maybe something will come out. Maybe I'll move. Maybe, who knows?
Now, is that just the general consensus, like in your regional area, like for people in the trades, working with cars, and really, why is this? It's not. I'm telling you, it's not any different here. It really is.
It's not.
That's probably why we all stick to each other. You know what I mean? I actually try to reach out of the bubble any occasion that I can, just so that we can tell people like, welding is fun. Welding provides an income. Welding is it's satisfying, and I think it's the most not satisfying job, but I get the most intense not emotion, but just gratification from it with teaching.
Yeah.
And who knew I was even gonna go into that? Like I thought I was gonna build cars all my life. You know what I mean? Like I was happy with it. I absolutely loved it. But until I actually started diving into formal education, that I realized that there was a huge gap in the idea of being. When I was in the shop, I didn't even care. That was my shop and I owned it. Like I didn't care because I was in control of it. So until you actually step out of your own little bubble, you don't realize that there's an actual issue with society not giving a shit about what you do.
And I was listening, and it was a welder in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't
Laura?
it you?
Yes.
Laura. And she was saying, so the same stereotypes are there as well. So it doesn't even seem to be related to North American
it's global
mentality.
Yeah.
It seems to be general, like, oh my God, you're in the trades. Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Weird.
During pandemic times, what jobs were important? I'm sorry, what jobs kept everybody alive?
Yes.
Right, the mechanics, the nurses, the doctors, the construction workers, the roofers. Yeah, right.
Right. It's so interesting, the mentality, because when I think back on it, all of my family, well, the majority of my family, they were in the military and they were building things. And I just thought that was the most amazing job. I never had any stereotype against it or any black cloud over it. I just thought, well, I'm gonna do that too. It's weird because honestly, I guess because I do own my business, but it's not, I'm not wearing the suit. So it's a little bit different. And I'm the one that wants to get dirty, and I think I get it from my own family, which is interesting, but I don't care. It's how you handle those comments. You know what I mean?
It's how you handle those comments, and like, why? I guess my first point is even still why? Like, why is it necessary to talk down? My husband is a musician.
Yeah.
And he earns his living playing drums, teaching drums. He's a musician through and through. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh yeah, he's a musician. I'm like, yeah.
There's that stereotype that comes to your head immediately, right? Like,
and let me tell you something, between the two of us, he's the responsible one. Not me.
Well,
he keeps me grounded in a world I could totally fly off. So he's the responsible, more adult of the two. But
Yeah.
he's me because he's the musician. It's a good thing he has me to calm him down. And my family and friends are like,
I love it. Yo, hold on. She's half naked under a car. She's taken off on the motorcycle. I don't know why people have to frown on it. I think it's more of just a lack of knowledge. I think it's just lack of visibility. Or, there's the blue collar and then there's the office workers. Like, just come on over to the dark side and enjoy us a little bit. You will understand that we're not that much different. We all make a living,
yeah.
Except you're paying way too much for your clothing to sit and make less money than I'm making. I'm just saying. It's true.
And like, really, if you can do what you like and realize that even if maybe that's not something you want to do for 50 years, well, that's fine. There's other options.
Yes.
And like, I know some welders, they're doubling my salary and they're working less hours than me.
Yes.
I'm like, who's the smart one? Hold on.
You see that all the time, like one of my students, he just told me the other day he's going for a welding test, and he's just coming out of pipe welding school, and he's gonna be 48 an hour. Granted, I think he's only 25, 48 an hour, 125 per diem. And I was like, hell yeah, brother. Like,
that's like 70 a year?
Go off, I'm like,
oh, yeah. Like 70 a year plus your DM? Geez. All right, can you live on that?
Dude, come on. That's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me that. I don't get it. Like, you can't hear. Well, it's interesting because if you stay in-house to weld here in California, the jobs vary from like 15 to about 25. And I'm thinking, I made more than that when I was 18 years old, so you must be crazy. You know what I mean? So it's also the way that they pay here as well. So there's no incentive to come in, because then they want you to have forklift experience, TIG welding experience. You have to have auto body experience. You should be paying me like $150 an hour with all that experience. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. People don't pay enough for the experience and the skills acquired.
But so, yeah, and it's true, the welders that I know that do make like above, let's say 100 are not, they go like what we call up north, where let's call it the really great north, like in gold mines, in oil refineries, like that type of stuff. They go up there, they work for 2 weeks, and they come home for 2 weeks.
Again, please.
Please.
That's so cute. I'm gonna rewind this and listen to her say refinery. So adorable.
Listen, English is my second language.
Don't even get me started on this. We'll have the rest of this in French just to listen to you talk. Okay, you guys. So she's the only woman I've ever received a card. It was all in French, and it's funny because I don't know if you know this, but my grandpa, he's Cajun. So like my family is French. So my daughter speaks it, my mom speaks it. I'm the only one that does not speak French. I understand it.
Serious?
Yeah. So I got it, and it's funny because when I was gonna get married, I gave my daughter a wedding invite in French because she spoke it fluently, and so I did it as like a joke. But like when I got your card for Christmas, I was like, how adorable. She's guys, she's super fun.
My mother tongue is French, my second is English, and I'm in the process of learning Spanish. Very few people to talk to Spanish in New Brunswick, let me tell you. It's a slow process.
It's okay. When you come to California, you'll use it all over the place.
Oh my God, I can't wait. The world needs to start opening up again.
Yes.
It's starting to.
I was just thinking about this. One of the pieces on the Auto Body Source was you were holding all woman classes hosted in your shop. So what is that?
Yeah.
Why is that necessary for you to like extend your craft to other women?
So We have a house, my husband and I.
Yes.
We don't even have a garage. We have 2 daily drivers. We have an 80 Camaro, a 70 Javelin, and my motorcycle, and we don't even have a garage. My dad has this really nice garage, though. So we're always at dad's. And the welding thing started up years back now, like maybe even 4 or 5 years ago. One of my girlfriends said something about she was with this super loser boyfriend, and she was saying, like, I wanted to learn how to do this, but they mocked me. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. No. So I started having welding classes for women. So it's just MIG, nothing overly fancy.
Yeah.
I go on Pinterest or wherever and find little projects. So one of them was like a little heart, and then they had to grind it out of sheet metal, like cut it out. So they had to learn a grinder, wear glasses, the whole caboodle.
Not in a bikini, ladies.
No. And they were wearing tops. No stick welding topless.
We're not going to let this one go, you guys.
Never. Who does that? So I'm curious, for the people that are there, do you know who we're talking about? You can just say yes or no. So there's one custom car fabricator who's also a welder, who posted a picture recently on his social media out of his welding pickup truck of a girl topless welding. So extra points if you know who it is. So I started doing those little projects, and then they would have, like, one was a dice. So they had to cut out the dice. And then another one was the heart, and they had to, like, weld the Band-Aid on the heart, because they would cut it in two, and then they would have to weld little Band-Aids to keep it together.
That's
yeah. And then another one, we had my dad's fire pit let go. So my friend came over and we're like, all right. So she started. Oh my God. I started seeing the comments coming through about who that was. So then when I see that they're doing well enough and that I think their welds are solid, they don't always look pretty, but they're solid.
Yeah.
I'm like, then I look at them and I'm like, all right, give me that heart, and I smack it.
Yeah, it's Joey. I love Joey. I love that. So what is their reaction when you test the weld?
When their eyes pop out of their head, you mean?
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. One girl, her dice, the metal caved in, but her welds held.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, that's so awesome. Maybe a little too much heat for that cave-in to happen, but yay, it held. It didn't melt through, and it held. So then it started after that, where it was, oh, well, I need to change my oil, but like Mr. Lube, or these like drive-through oil change stuff, well, they charge like $50. Does that make sense? Or like a 90, whatever. I don't even know what they cost. And I'm like, no, not really. You can buy the oil for like $30, $40. And, trust me, I can teach you in like half an hour. They're like, really? So, okay, that started then. So I would get the girls rounded up, or when they would buy a car, I'm like, all right, I'm coming over. So one time, one of my girls, and I don't see her, she had a flat on her car. It's on the side of the road. And she pulled over in a parking lot, started changing her tire. A couple of guys came out like, oh, do you need help? She's like, no, I'm good. So 3 guys leaned against their car, watched this beautiful blonde change her tire, put the spare back, like, her busted tire in the trunk, lift her up, throw it in there. She's like, all right, have a nice day, boys.
I love it. You know what? I think that's a mandatory. When you learn how to drive, you should know how to pump gas, change your oil, change a tire, check fluids. Why would you drive a vehicle and not have just these basic necessities under your belt?
But here's the thing. For me, that's what's right for me. How many guys or girls drive cars. Like one of our friends had a flat, and he's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Calls us up. He says, "How do I know if I have a spare?"
Oh my word.
Well, check in your trunk. First place to check. Oh, okay. Calls back. Yeah, so I have a spare. What do I do now?
Oh my word.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty easy. Like, just put the jack underneath, make sure it's solid, and then take the like your wrench or whatever you have, and then take the lugs off and put the other one on. How do I know what's a jack? Yeah, call a tow truck.
Oh no. Yes, they don't teach this in school.
No,
I saw this comment.
they don't.
It's so interesting. I just saw one person. They made a comment on the Welding Women Syndicate page, something about they do have it in Virginia, and I was thinking we are all moving to Virginia because across the board nobody has trades anymore. So there's no shop class, there's no carpenter class, there's no welding class, so nobody knows these basic skills anymore.
And when I got my driver's license, I took young drivers. They didn't teach that in young drivers.
Oh.
And back in whatever 90 some years, like in the 90s, they didn't show you that, and they wouldn't have shown a girl. Can you imagine?
No. It's barely changing now that people would actually show a girl.
Yeah.
Slowly. You're very lucky if your dad owns the shop, or your boyfriend works there, or you got a big enough mouth like myself.
I'm seeing a comment saying my mom made my sisters change a tire before getting a learner's permit. Your mom's my hero.
Yes, that's exactly. Bring back shop class. I just posted this the other day. It's those small skills that are absolutely a necessity. Like, I can't imagine driving a vehicle and not having. Well, it's more accessible here, you know what I mean? But when I lived in the country, I couldn't imagine not having that skill, because
that's what I was going to say. Like, even if you're living in the country, though, when my distributor cab on my Pontiac Acadian would go, it was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, before sunrise, way after sunset, let me tell you. There would always be one or two cars about. Mm-hmm. One of them would normally stop. They'd give me a lift back to town. I'd call someone. Then I got tired. I'm like, fuck, I can do this shit. Like, what is this? How complicated can this be? Because that's me.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that says it's okay if you don't like it too. And that's fine. Make sure you have CAA.
Well, I mean, where I used to live, there was no phone reception. There was no guarantee that somebody was going to drive through, so, and I already had those skills already, and I'm proud of that part. But there's a lot of kids in that town that they didn't know how to do that stuff, and that's scary to me. That's frightening, just in any society, having just those basic soft skills. Like, if you drive a vehicle, you should know how to do these things.
You should know basics. And to me, like, so now I haven't in the last year and a half, because the world kind of went bonkers, but I have the girls over and I show them, so this is how you tell when your tires really need to be changed. This is how you rotate your tires. This is how you can tell when your oil's due. This is, half of them didn't even know what an owner's manual was. Oof. So when they went to the mechanic, if a mechanic was dishonest, those guys could spot them in a heartbeat. Now they go to a mechanic, and the guy's like, yeah, you need to change the tires. They're like, no, they're good for 2 years. Like, look, there's this much thread. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you could, yeah. Or like the dealership trying to upsell, or like whatever. They're comfortable enough now to be able to have a conversation and defend themselves against nasty sales. Sorry if any of you are in sales.
Well, you're bridging the gap on the lack of education. You know what I mean? Like, it's no different than here, because we've taken it out of schools, and people don't necessarily have the resources when they're kids. Not everybody has a father that is in automotive.
No.
If they
No.
aren't, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to teach them. So when we had those classes in school, we had a little bit more knowledge. And now that we've taken it out, we've seen like there's a lot of people who don't have it. There's no visibility for people. There's no access for certain things. Like when you hold those classes, you're protecting your friends, you're teaching them, you know, and they're going to teach their friends. So exponentially, you're helping your community.
And to Luva Dirt, all of the above. I actually don't have kids, so not my kids. My girls are my friends, my girlfriends, or anybody who needs that extra help. So this spring when motorcycle season came around, I gave a motorcycle 101 class to a bunch of women. There was, I think, they ended up being like 16 or 17, I think. I expected like 4, and I was like, whoa, oh, hi, everyone, great. Most of them didn't even know they had a toolkit on their bike, let alone what to use.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Like, if you're on a bike, if I'm on the bike, I've done road trips where, again, before the world shut down, you know, I was like, yeah, so I'm going on a road trip and crossed over from New Brunswick, and ended up climbing Mount Washington in New Hampshire.
Cool.
And turned around and rode around a bit, ended up in New York and came home. Did my husband know where I was? No, I didn't know where I was going.
Right.
The bike was pointing one way. That's the way I went.
Yeah.
So if the bike breaks down in the middle of somewhere, or if there's something, I need to have an idea of what I need to do. Oh, I almost slammed the door on a cat or dog or something. I need to have an idea of what I need to do to get myself back on the street safely, or to make sure that I'm not going to be taken advantage of money-wise or towing-wise or anything that can come up. Like in your cool toolkit on your motorcycle, basic wrenches for the sides of your bike, lock nut, tie wraps, and a couple spare screws. Not much on a motorcycle you cannot fix.
Yes. I love
it. Like, really.
I love it. Now, how did you get into riding bikes?
So, when we were kids, we had many uncles and aunts live with us. One particular uncle actually ended up living with us for 6 or 7 years. I don't know, a long ass time. And he kind of became more my brother than my uncle. He passed away in 2018. And when he passed, I got his bike.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. It was one of those things I kept on saying, I'm going to do it one day. And then he got ill and he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to. And we saw like his cancer. It was his second battle with cancer. And like, he wasn't winning this one. And I'm like, I looked at my husband. I'm like, I think I want that bike. I think I need to get it. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I think so.
I love it.
So my husband doesn't ride. My husband doesn't ride bikes. And at the moment, he doesn't have any interest.
Really?
No. And I don't.
That's the one thing I still want to get is a bike, because I've always been the passenger and not the rider. And I didn't, because when I was younger, one of my very best friends, a couple of them, but the very, very, very best friend was killed on a motorcycle. And so it kind of kept me away from motorcycles for a minute. And then like linking up with Eliza, she's like, oh, you're getting one. And I've wanted one for a very long time, but like my life has evolved in like this crazy way. I just haven't had the time and place for it. But I know you're coming to California soon. Like you will. Like, is there some plan eventually, like, for you guys to open up more? Like, have you heard anything about the borders opening?
Well, so we can still travel by air. I know a few Canadians that have gone to the States, come back.
Yeah.
There's like a whole bunch of COVID tests that almost every time you turn around. So it's starting to open up. I'm hoping this winter for us to be able to go back out west. I miss out west.
Yeah.
Western US is where I'm happiest.
That's because it's warm.
For starters.
Right.
And yes, I'm in Eastern Canada. Do you see something wrong here?
Yes. Yes, cold.
So yeah, we're hoping that this winter things come around that gives us the chance to go up. And I had been given the chance last winter to go work on the all girls build with Bogey, and I couldn't go because that was
Oh,
when everything started shutting down. So for those who don't know, just very quickly, a bit of background, Bogey from All Girls Garage has a business out in Phoenix. Once a year, they build a car that goes to SEMA. It's an all girl build. And it's from, I've never touched a wrench to, oh my God, I'm an expert master, Red Seal, the best of the best. And last year I had been given the chance to go to New Brunswick, from New Brunswick to Phoenix. And COVID, the government screwed us up and then put a whole bunch of quarantine orders everywhere, and I couldn't go. And then this year she announced that they're taking that same building, they're doing it on 2 years.
yes.
So there's still going to be that Volvo.
It's still good there. You know what happened? She called me and she tried to fly me out the weekend that I was going to a car show out of state, and I was all, really? Like, when she was doing what was the other one? The montage? I was trying to go, but it was I think that was the time where my house burned down. So
I was going to say that would have been,
around that time, and that's why I was telling her, like, there was a reason why I couldn't go for some reason. And then she literally calls me, and I was all, are you kidding? I wanted to cry, like ugly cry. Like,
well, I'm not gonna lie. When I got confirmation that I really couldn't go, like it wasn't happening in 2020, I totally Disney princess ugly cried in my pillow in my bed 3 nights, full blow. No shame. Absolutely.
No,
ugly
I feel
princess, ugly pillow cry.
I love Bogey. I love Bogey. I love what she stands for. I love her community. I love all of her efforts. Just what she stands for as a woman in the industry, period. And
so we really want to be able to go down this winter. So we're hoping to go out to California again as well.
You better be calling me, girlfriend. You be coming to the shop.
If I make it to California, I didn't call her, and I don't come home, we know who killed me because I didn't call her. So we're hoping this winter that once because it's starting to open up again now, and I think now all we need is like the COVID test, and I think we need to show our friggin' vaccination passport, stupidity, whatever.
So much.
I'm like, if that's what it gets me across, here it is. Right. Go for it. Knock yourself out.
If you come out here, we're going to do a workshop together. I promise you.
Oh, it's so much fun.
You'll know, because I know you always seem to be fairly organized. So if you win, we'll be positive. When you come out here, we'll organize a workshop. Yeah. Because I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same, just like I was saying earlier, a lot of women don't have the resources or accessibility to certain things. And that's, I'm in Southern California.
So a lot of guys, if you were a single guy and your money's tight, you can maybe change your own oil yourself, because this is something men are born knowing. Wait, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's so more taught or accepted that a guy should know this versus a girl. While if you're a woman and you're maybe single mom or you're starting off, like when we were starting off, money was friggin' tight, let me tell you. So you know what? Changing that oil, and I'm still too cheap. I still refuse to pay $90 to a mechanic to change my oil. I'm sorry, not happening.
My brother, he just told me that it's $1,500 to do a brake job on his Beamer. And I was like, brother, no, nuh-uh. what? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
What kind of brakes? Like, do they have to take the whole car
they
apart?
must be like gold plated or something. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, no, I'll do it. And I guess he found somebody to do it that was not BMW at a BMW dealership, and I was like,
dealership, yeah,
fucking insane. Like,
but like, seriously, what are they putting on there?
I don't know.
Like, yeah,
the lag time is insane, man. So I just do it. Like I was a professional driver, so I had no choice. You gotta do that shit on the fly, like change tires and do everything and know how to diagnose things on the, you know, like wrap some fucking tape and get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Like, you make that shit work.
but it's, yeah. And I mean, I think it's important for women to be able to change their own tires, to have a flat and not have to end up with a $300 tow bill, then plus a new tire on top of it all. Not everybody can afford that. Not everybody budgets that way, that they have this money floating around. If you know how, then you can do it.
Yeah.
If not, you're stuck paying a tow call. Like our buddy, actually, I think he called his in-laws, but like he would have had to call it tow, right? Yeah. So I think it's important for people to know the basics. For me, I like being able to do it, the independent thing, the stubborn thing. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. It's going to take me 10 times longer.
I don't even think it's that, though. You know, I don't take very long to do it. I just like to do it. I
know there's a lot of stuff that, and I mean, granted, I mean, most cases when I'm working on a car, it's on Mama Javelin. The car's 51 years old.
Yeah.
The car's always been in Eastern Canada.
Yeah.
He's been taken care of throughout the years, but he's an Eastern Canadian car.
Yeah.
Come on. So, yeah, like when I changed the leaves, I couldn't tell where my 10 started and the rust started. So bad. So bad.
Poor baby.
No.
It took me, though. I know, we were just talking about
that. It took me, 2 weeks? Oof. Yeah. It was nasty. And then speaking of safety and stupid when you're tired, stupidity stuff, the leaves in the back both broke inside. So we heated it up, punched it out. And I grabbed something and it was still red hot. And then I'm like, shit, that hurts. So I get up and I let go. And then I fall on my knee on the red bolt that we just popped out.
Oh, right no. Talk about
I basically branded myself now.
Oh, my word.
And yes, that was through my jeans. I was properly dressed.
You were wearing bikini, don't lie.
No. I was in the garage with my dad, no bikini.
Imagine, oh my word.
No, not a bikini gal to begin with. Certainly not done.
Fucking topless? Sophie?
Never know what's out there, folks. No. And I don't work for that ex-person either.
Oh, you guys are killing me with these. You know, it's interesting because, like, that seems to be, like, the new generation that's coming out here, too. And it makes me feel so old because I'm like, what? Like, because I don't want to stick weld and burn my nipple, you know? Like, sorry, guys, too much information. But seriously, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not my thing either. Mm-mm. Again, I like my skin. I think it's one of my best features.
You think? We kind of do. It's very important. Lavender. I live in Corona, so SoCal. Sorry, I just saw it through.
Yeah.
Remember that when you're in California.
So the coronavirus, she lives in Corona. Just saying.
I get it all the time. If I put Corona on anything, they'll have that disclaimer at the bottom just because it says it. Corona. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course it would.
They're censoring me.
No comment.
Don't start. So, are there other people or companies that do that? You know, like the workshop type situations in your area?
There was actually a tire company that was doing some. They did it for like 6 months and never heard a word from them again, which was really too bad because they were gearing it towards women or like teenagers. So people starting off that perhaps probably don't have the confidence to speak up and say, I have no clue what you're doing. I don't understand. Can you show me? And they did it for 1 year in 2018, I think, and never again. And so I had talked about, so when I get too frustrated or run out of time on my motorcycle, I have one guide that I go to. And he's the only mechanic I've ever seen with a 5-star rating.
Really?
5-star. Yeah. Not one person has ever had anything less than 5-star for him.
Wow. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
So I was talking to him and I was like, what do you think I should show them? What do you want to show me? And he's like, we could talk. So I see stuff coming up for next year.
I love it. I love it. You know what? I know there's some things are still very weird because of COVID, and I'm still new to the area because when I was teaching out here, it was not even in the city. I was 75 miles away. So I'm still not that familiar with the area. And then now everything is just so weird when it comes to COVID, you know, so I'm still not very familiar with like things. Everything's just still very shut down. If not, it's like, you know, masked up or people are weird. So I've tried to reach out to the community. I'm working with colleges now more just to kind of bridge the gap. They're opening up a little bit more. So, you know, it's easier to try to build like
Here's an interesting fact, just because you mentioned college. So last year, being that everything was shut down and whatnot, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do something this winter and I'm gonna take some night classes. So I wanted to take welding, to have a real welding that I actually know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. Not just here's your stick, figure it out. Oh, okay. No, that was too not hot enough.
It's so easy to work with.
Yes and no, honestly.
Really?
The MIG is it either, if it's pierced, it's too hot. If it, you know, it's coming apart, it's not hot enough. That's pretty much MIG.
And I say that just because my first introduction to welding was MIG, so I always think of it like it's very easy to me.
Stick is not always as easy, or like, no. Oh. So no, not all welding. No,
I love stick welding. It's my favorite.
Yeah. So I wanted to do welding. No, college don't offer night classes now because of COVID.
Really?
Okay. So I'll take motorcycle repair. That would be fun. No, we're still, the only classes the colleges are giving at night are Excel, manage emails, project management. No, I'll pass on that shit. Thanks.
That's great. Well, you know, they have to pivot just as everybody else is, you know, so they have to have one way.
How long can you use COVID as an excuse for?
And that is true. And I just see it that way because everybody, you know, even over here, I just saw that large venues are going to now have to ask for passports, you know, the COVID passports in order for people to gain entry. So I'm like, well, it's very interesting. It's very precarious out here.
You need it here to go to a restaurant.
Well, the only reason why I was able to teach is because my workshop, the shop was not associated to the college. It was actually a remote shop. So it was liability smaller.
Makes sense.
So that's the only reason. I think we were only shut down for 3 weeks, and I taught for a year and a half during COVID. So, and now the new university, if I get it, it's in LA County. So I know that it's a mandatory vaccination now.
Oh,
it's interesting because of my position on it. So we'll see. Teaching right now is a very precarious position. So so none of the colleges here, they are offering some trades, but the trade classes they're offering are cut in half. Oh, for social distancing.
Yeah, do you know why? Have you seen how empty the classes are? I don't think they needed to be cut in half. Really, not necessary. So now instead of having half the normal students, there's a quarter of the students of a quarter of the capacity.
But
So
it's
what's
better
going to
though, so
happen in
more
3 years?
hands-on. You know, we actually had to do that in order to mandates change, you know, throughout the months and months, of course. So originally we had to do the same thing. We had to do half classes in order for us to continue to teach. And I actually loved it more because we had more hood time, more hands-on time in the shop, which I loved just because of the way the program was set up. And now
But
it's
how many
gone back.
graduates were coming out? Because you're getting half the graduates coming out. So since there's missing people in the trades already.
Yes.
So what's going to happen in 3 years from now when there's like a huge deficit of people compared to the, or I should say the humongous compared to the huge?
Right. No, there will be. Well, and that's
Like, huge.
why when you see smaller, like private schools who are not necessarily bound by the similar terms, you can basically write your own rules, which I'm so excited because we get to talk about that one next week. Woohoo! I can't wait for that one too. But like the, you know, big academia as opposed to small private institutions.
Yeah.
Huge difference because you are not necessarily bound by those rules. You know, you have to provide, obviously we want to make sure our students are protected. You know, you want to provide the best education regardless of the trade to whomever, but there's certain things because of less liability, you do not have to abide by certain things. So
Yeah.
there's
we're definitely in interesting times, and it's going to be a lot more interesting before it gets better, no matter what your take is.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to judge on anybody's opinion, but no matter how you look at it, with all of the shortage and everybody losing their jobs and stuff, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
But
and the trades are going to suffer even worse.
Doing what you do though, you know, including your girlfriends, having those workshops and having those small private events, if more people did that, which I see it seems to be more of a trending idea, more people are trying to organize things like that, which I absolutely like. We need more visibility, we need more resources, regardless of man or woman, you know, because there's such a huge deficit. I think that there's more opportunity for that, you know, just think out of the box and just you know, reach out to somebody who is a seasoned welder or, you know, whatever, painter, carpenter, whatever, you know, whatever your field of interest lies, and create that. You know, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm not waiting for an opportunity to present itself. I'm creating my own opportunities because there's a huge deficit. And like you said, that huge hole is going to be fucking humongous if somebody else doesn't do more about it.
True. And not that I would want to take some advantage of something, but you know what? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
If I want to put all the qualifications on my side, then yeah. And I actually had reached out to one of the local welders here and asked him if he wouldn't mind, like, you know, me going to spend some time with him so he could show me, you know, really proper stick and proper, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said yes, but you could tell he really didn't want to. So I'm like, yeah.
So why do you think that there was a negative on that?
You could tell by the kind of passive tone that, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll go find someone else. What are you doing?
I had to get my pen.
I think she's trying to give someone a kiss. I hope it's not someone. I hope it's one of you.
No, I had to reach to get my pen. I'm kissing you. I'm feeling celebratory right now.
Here we go. The 1 year anniversary. She's drunk on the half a glass of whatever she's drinking.
Water. Hey, there's my favorites. Mr. G. What up, buddy?
Hey, I was drinking this.
Oh, I'm drinking water. I promise. It's just water. It's not.
Mine wasn't just water.
No, my notebook is behind and I'm gonna write it down because I was just writing one of the names down because of the comments, so just so I can make a comment back. You're funny. No, but do you think it's because you're a woman or he's just not interested in
not interested?
Oh, Well, I get that. Not everybody is a teacher. It's a
And people see it as showing someone else. They don't see it as sharing their knowledge and making sure someone else knows what's going on. They see it, it's going to take a lot of time out of me.
Oh, okay.
They see it as this job is now going to take me twice as long because I'm going to have to explain everything.
I see that.
And some people might have tried it in the past, and you know what? Not everybody catches it on the first try. Not everybody explains it right. Another reason that maybe I never went in the trades is, you know what? I love my dad with all my heart. I've spent so many times, hours over and over in the garage, in the living room. He is the worst teacher ever.
You know what?
Really, if you
not
don't
everybody
understand,
is a good teacher. My father was the same way. I remember learning how to drive, and he was like, Tiffany, you're going to get driving lessons because I'm not going to teach you because I will kill you. And he was honest. He was just like, hell no,
that's fair.
That's not happening. And he was like, I don't know all the rules, what you should learn. You know what I mean? And when I went to driving school, which is so odd, does anybody even do that anymore?
I did. I don't think they still do now, though.
I don't know if it even exists anymore, but he wanted
they do.
to learn all those subtle nuances that you don't necessarily know, like lining up when you make a left-hand turn, or, you know, just certain things. Driving school, like of anything, teaches you those certain things that you don't necessarily pick up when you're at the shop. Like, I know lots of welders who don't know how to do a lot of things that I did only because I learned them with formal education. You know what I mean? So that makes a lot of sense. You know, some people just don't get bothered in their...
No, my dad can explain it in one way, and if you don't understand it, he will repeat it word for word. If I didn't get it the first time, probably not going on the second or
He's
the
like,
third.
You must not have heard me.
In his mind, I'm just going to repeat word for word, and sooner or later she will catch on. No, Dad, it's not working.
Now, do you have that issue when you're showing your ladies, you have your workshops?
No.
Do you have the ability to pivot with each personality? You have to have if you do it.
Yeah. I've actually, maybe in part because of the experience with my dad, I've always made sure that I was speaking to the audience. So if I'm speaking to my husband about cars while we're watching car shows and talking cars or whatever, like constantly. So we're like, oh yeah, but look at that. Look at this hood. Oh no, it's got this package, or, you know, we're going to be like shooting stuff at each other. You know what? One of my girlfriends comes over here. We're not going to be shooting that fast. We're not going to be talking about the same maybe go package that car had, maybe the wheel bear, like, you know, oh, look at those rims. They're not original. Like, it's not going to be the same conversation.
Right.
And the way that I would teach it is not going to be the same to you or to the person sitting next to you. Because you both have different life experience. You both have different things, and you both learn differently. Even at work, when I teach someone at work, the first thing I do is I ask them, do you learn by seeing, listening, or doing?
Yes.
Let's start off there.
Yes.
Now that we've set it at that base, let's move on. Because not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody, like, repeating the same things, not going to help.
No, it doesn't. No.
Love him to death, but didn't change a fucking thing repeating it. No. So, yeah. He was, and when he was in the garage, I would be the light holder. I never heard my dad swear until you point that flashlight somewhere else.
Those memes that come out, those are real, okay?
Oh my God, so much so.
Dude, you know what? I wasn't even allowed to, like, not do something. Like, if I was told to do it, I just had to know how to do it. I wasn't shown how to do something. I just automatically, I was supposed to know how to do it. That's how I did welding. And it's weird because once I got into the shop atmosphere, I just learned by that. I just would see something and I could do it because when I was taught when I was younger of anything, I automatically had to know how to do it. What? No explanation, no demo. No, it was like, do it. Do what?
So Dad, if ever you listen to this, I love you. You're still a bad teacher. Sorry. Love you.
It's weird. Like we churned those experiences around. Like I had a poor I had a poor shop experience. I had a poor college experience, and so I churned that around, and I made sure every student that I've had, at least I hope, at least that's what they tell me, they had the best experience as far as
But that's how it should be, though, because you want them walking out feeling that they're empowered, feeling confident, feeling that they can do this. And you know what? You fucking can.
Oh,
Like, it's changing a tire, it's changing oil. You can.
yes. Oh yeah.
Like,
It's not
and it doesn't matter.
yeah.
No. And it doesn't matter if I pee sitting down or standing. It doesn't.
No.
It has no bearing on how to change a tire. It really doesn't.
No, there's plenty of men that don't know how to do it. It has nothing to do with that.
Like, so yeah, and I think it's important. So I always try to make sure that they walk away. And just like when I test those welds, when I give them the welding classes, I'll only test certain ones where at a quick peek, I think it's going to pass. And luckily, and I'm dreading the day that I make that bad judgment call and the well breaks, because I'm going to be like beating myself up for like weeks after.
I have to see that as well, though. You know what I mean?
But the point is to have them walking away feeling confident, not shit. My weld didn't even hold up.
No, but you know what? That's part of it. And that was kind of the part of when we had destructive tests in class.
Yeah.
That was one of the hard parts when I would have to tell them, look, it's better you learn here and now how to diagnose your weld as opposed to being on the field and thinking that that weld is structurally correct when it's not. You know what I mean? I want you to know every subtle nuance of what it should look like, how you should weld it up. And if it doesn't, you're going to see when we break it, it doesn't always hold up, you know, and these are the reasons why, and I'm going to teach you that, you know?
Yeah. But like these girls are just doing it so they can learn, right? I think yours is in a formal setting. They're going to be on the job. These girls are just going to be maybe working on another car or whatever. And I mean, so when my dad bought his 75 MGB, it was this like, oh my God, like, I can't call it any other color. If you've ever seen a puke blue, that's what it was. It was like this pastel, gross blue, really funky. Anyways, and the way they had sprayed it, they didn't spray it right. It was peeling in some places. It was like super thick in others. Like it was so bad. And so Dad and I were like, yeah, that needs to be stripped. Like, no. So I called up my girls. I went on Facebook and I'm looking for strippers, no experience necessary, willingness to get dirty. I had 6 of my girls showed up, and I mean, not that an MGB is a big car, let's be honest, but in a weekend we had that strip babies done to the metal.
I love it.
They're like, what do I wear? I'm like, long sleeves.
You're like, cover your skin. You're like, what?
Every inch that you can.
I love
turtleneck up to your eyeballs.
I love it. They're like, what? This is a different kind of stripping, I think.
Yeah, my dad was like posted a picture. Yeah, the girls came over. My daughter at work. My daughter's stripping in the garage.
Little brats. I love that. The wordplay is hilarious, though.
So they learned a lot of stuff. They all showed up. They were willing to learn. They came out of there. Yeah. It's trying to make sure that they're confident at the same time as empowering them to do something versus while in a formal school setting, it's a little different while you're teaching them something where they'll be welding pipes. Right. So some of these girls now, there's a few of them actually that I'll call on when I'm working on the car and I'm like, hey, I'm in the garage. You want to come over? And like Dad's completely normal. He walks in the garage. There's like 5 girls of us or 3 or 4 girls and we're all like doing whatever.
I love that you create a normalcy between it. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole point of this everything is to create a normal atmosphere. You know, it's no big deal. Mr. G was just saying, we were talking about the destructive test and breaking the weld. He says, Tiffany, important to tell students that failing a test is temporary. Do it again and learn from the fail.
Yeah. Do it until you get it right.
Yes. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Elvis sneaking on there, Missy. So I remember there's a certain body shop in Toronto where at one point in time somebody walked into the shop and it's a brother sister that has the body shop, brother sister team. And somebody came in and said, I heard a rumor there was a girl that had the shop now. I don't know what the brother said, but yeah. Yes.
I love
your
it.
point is, you're friggin' lucky because she can fucking paint like badass, man.
Why is it like such a novel idea still? You know what I mean? Like, I don't, as if we're less, or, I mean, we create humans. What more of an obstacle? You know what I mean? Like, come on now. After that, it's all easy. I'm just saying, like, it's, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't get it. I still don't.
Like, it's global because just like you said, like, and I've heard it in like New Zealand, and I've heard it in, you know, Canada, everywhere.
It's universal, like completely universal. And it's, and that being said, just like how many bad jokes do we have for a new tech or a new mechanic that's going into school? How many people, and I've done it once or twice, how many people have I told go get blinker fluid? Do you know what? It's kind of funny, but do you think that person is encouraging that person now that just got laughed at the parts counter to become going in the trades?
Right. No, it's
whether it's a guy or a girl, do you know what? They got feelings and they just got embarrassed.
Well, and they don't know either. That's the problem.
No, we know. We should be showing them, not making fun of them because they don't know.
Right.
And I've done it, like, a totally guilty, completely. And like, there's this prank at one point in time. I'll find it again. My brother put it on MP3 for me because it was like a prank on the radio, and it's super old. And it's this guy saying, like, to this girl, pranking this girl, and her dad put the radio station up to it. Oh, well, you know, your second transmission's broken on your car. She's like, oh, do I need that? Well, you know, do you need to go in reverse? Well, no, I guess I could park on the side of the road instead of backing in my driveway. And he goes on and on and on, and like the stupid things that you're like, oh my God. Like, and I remember I've heard this thing like 50,000 times.
You're preying on their lack of knowledge, which breaks my heart. It's funny to me, car girl stuff. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's funny. You think in your head everybody should know this, but when you go on the other spectrum, not everybody knows that.
No.
Preying on their weakness, you know? And I hate it, you know?
And sending that kid to the parts store to go get blinker fluid? You think they're gonna really want to go in trades after their parts counter like made fun of them? Right? They're friggin' embarrassed. They want to die.
I don't know. Like, that part doesn't ever get to a point where we don't have to say, though. Like, we were talking about this earlier. When does it get to a point where we don't have to say a woman welder or a woman, you know,
a welder?
Period. Yeah. Why can't we just use it? I'm just a welder. You know, and I was just talking about this to one of the ladies. Like, I think it just comes to a point in time where you're so comfortable with your skills that you don't have to qualify yourself anymore. I don't introduce myself as a welder unless we're in that conversation, because I don't feel like I have to qualify myself to anybody. You know why? Because I'm confident in my skills.
Yeah, fair.
So, I don't remember who. I just interviewed somebody when we had this test, and I was like, stop doing that, because why do you have to say that your degree, your qualifications, your how many years you taught, how many cars you've built? Does your male counterparts do that? No, because they are confident with the.
I follow this girl on Instagram. She does powder coating. And somebody asked her at one point in time, like, do you sell those? Like, what are you going to do with those? She's like, do you think they ask my boyfriend that? No, because it's hilarious for someone to ask a guy, like, oh, you're powder coating. Oh, well, like, you're going to sell that? Yes. Shithead. That's why he's doing it. Good job. But it's assumed, and she was right. She was like, they wouldn't. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
I don't get that. No, and I think we just have to basically stand in our own power. I think that we will be able to change that conversation by just not having a quote.
I think it's getting better. And I mean, I think there's always been some pioneers. There's always been first women on the motorcycle. Like there's a 17-year-old girl right now, and she's from Europe, and I feel horrible because I forget her name right now. But she is flying solo in a small airplane across the world.
I saw
Fly solo. Like seriously, this is insane. She's 17.
Yes.
You're like, it's the first like lady to fly solo since blah blah blah. And I'm like, she's 17 and flying solo. Who the fuck cares? She's a girl.
Yeah, right. No, it's amazing.
Does it matter?
She's setting precedents for male and female. It doesn't. Yeah.
She's 17.
Because there's so many 17-year-old males flying doing it too. Who cares? They're 17. Exactly.
Yeah. Like really, how many, like, why do we need to point out, like, oh my gosh, she's a girl and she's going across the world solo?
Still a novelty. You know, it truly is. And I just laugh like, why? I don't think it is a novelty because I'm like, oh, right on. I get to work with a woman welder or a woman.
I don't think it's a novelty, but in one part, that comment from that mileage bully, oh, we have a male pilot. Were you 17 flying solo though? There's the important question. No.
So call yourself a pilot, please.
So, and then we say that it doesn't matter. And then I think again, I go back to that comment of the mileage bully that says it's important for people to know that I'm a Black woman that has my first writing school because they need to see that it can be done. And then I remember when I saw that, I thought if somebody had mentioned that to me as a kid, maybe I would have looked at things differently. So I think there's some valid points to saying, yes, I'm a woman gearhead, but there's also a lot of valid points to say I'm just a crazy gearhead.
Well, it's not really any different than naming it Welding Women's Syndicate. The reason why it's named that is because there's not just a group that encompasses just women welders. And women welders hold everything: automotive, painting, engineering, business ownership. There's not, it's like tradeswomen or anything. So I mean, I don't just shake your hand and be like, all right, I'm a welder. No, my name is Tiffany. I'm human first. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
Can we start at the basic starting point here?
I'm human. So it goes, I guess it goes both ways. You want to be able to have those normal conversations with your own sisters, but at the same time, you don't have to qualify yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. I know it sounds almost like...
No, I actually get that. Like, it's important to mention, but at the same time, I shouldn't have to mention it, and it shouldn't be pointed out that, I've got boobs, or, oh my God, I pee sitting down. That changes everything.
Oh,
wow.
God, so much. I swear we're such basic, simple creatures when we come down to it. We try to be such advanced, modern society, and we really are not.
We're like, no, really. We just give me that wrench. Find me that 10-millimeter socket. That's all I need.
I don't care if you're a man or woman. Hand that shit to me. Like, I don't care.
No.
It's lost anyways.
I had a socket set opened up in my daily driver, and in my cup holder, there's all my sockets. And I posted a picture saying, show me it's your car, without telling me this is your car. And I took a picture of my cup holder. One of my friend goes, if they're all 10-millimeter, your car's not being stolen tonight. Just saying. It wasn't me.
Seriously, dude. No, I have sockets everywhere. If you will open up a drawer in my room, they're in there. They're in every bag. They're in the center console of my truck. They're in every toolbox. I don't know what's wrong with me. They're everywhere.
Not organized? I don't know.
Not at all. No, because I had like the shop at the school, and then I always have tools in my truck, and then I always I have my shop here at home, and then I do private lets, and so I'm just like always navigating a certain welding bag, or just I'm a freaking nomad. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll just go mad and I'll be looking for something and there'll be tools everywhere. Like, I have no idea.
And then for 3 days you like put them all in place, and that lasts like for 6 hours.
Oh no, that still hasn't happened. Not here in
Oh no, not even at that stage yet. Okay.
When I was at the shop, when I had my formal shop, yes, but one day I'll get back to that type of organization, but not yet. One day. I'm actually going to be going up north to help with the chop, so I don't even know if he's still on there, but hopefully he's organized because it's my first time working with him.
That would be so cool.
That would be cool.
So cool.
I
And
don't
I'm
care.
so kind of jealous that you're going to the Winfield car show in October. Just saying.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. He's actually going to the fabrication class this weekend with Gene Winfield.
Nice.
I know. I know, and I opted out of it just because I'm being a poo butt right now. I don't know.
Why?
I don't feel like doing the
we
drive.
have this huge car show here. And Gene Winfield would come down before the world went bonkers every year for this car show. And he would give like metalworking welding classes. And it would just be like on a stage and there'd be like a dozen people listening in at once. And I was amazed. Like there's 2,000 cars. Most cars have at least 2 people plus all the people walking in. Yeah. And it's like a Saturday, Sunday, whole weekend thing, right? And I'm like, why is there only 12 people sitting in front? Like, do you know who do you have on stage? Like, do you know?
You know what? The last time I went to his car show, I think it was in 2013, and that was I had his Cadillac Maybelline in our shop.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that.
I remember walking up to him, and I was fangirling so hard. I didn't even know what to say. I think I was like, do you know who you are? Like, I was like, oh my God, are you stupid, Tiffany? Like, I was fangirling. So I have been a Gene Winfield fan since I was born, you know, like he is the granddaddy of like, come on now. Like,
come on. And like, for those who like are joining, Gene Winfield is a living legend in the car. He started the chops. He started like the Gene Winfield fades. Come on, the fades.
Yes.
And he does magic with friggin' pearls, man. Oh my God. And I've been to his shop and his garage. Like when we went in there, he was building a car for his girlfriend at the time. And my phone is going to move around for a sec as I plug it in as it's almost dying. So he was building a 455 for his girlfriend. Let's see how this works. I'm not sure how this is going to work. So my charger's in now, but I have nowhere to hold my phone. Oh, wait. If I don't breathe, we're good. Okay. So he was working on doing a safety plate on the 455. The 455 was upside down so they could build that safety metal plate on the mortar on a kitchen table in the middle of a garage. And the garage is like it's 2x4s. It's not even finished. Yeah. You can see sun through the walls. I'm like, dude, you're Gene Winfield. My dad has a better garage than you. His paint booth.
Who cares? But his freaking work is impeccable.
Oh my God. His paint booth is like, is it even plywood? I'm trying to remember. I don't even think it's plywood.
I don't think it is. I'll take pictures. I don't know. Like, I swear.
I'm going to take pictures to rub it in. Look where I am.
I'm going to post a Maybelline too, just to rub it in a little bit more. Hey, I literally sat in the trunk of Maybelline. Maybelline is the only vehicle that Gene Winfield built for himself. So a little bit of history, you guys. Gene Winfield, you know, the metal magician of all magicians that ever magicianed. I had the opportunity to work on his vehicle in 2013 in my shop in California here, and I made sure I sat my ass in the trunk while I was wiring up the air management system in the trunk, and I was like touching everything. And
the first time I met him was in 2011 at that car show here. And he was like, oh, do you want a picture? And I'm like, and we had a whole bunch of bad stuff happen in 2011. Yeah. And, and I'm like, oh, Gene Winfield wants, well, okay. Gee, that'll make me smile for a bit.
Yeah.
And like he is now 95.
Yes.
And he has girlfriends that are younger than me.
I mean, come on now.
Sure.
He's gonna teach them how to work that metal.
Yeah, no, not the ones he has. No. No.
Who cares? Just the honor of saying like Gene Winfield's your boyfriend, like who cares? I don't even care. Like that's my man.
Yeah, not fangirling that badly though. Let's tone that down, Tom. Let's not go batshit crazy
I
here.
might have to think about that.
Well, last I heard, he doesn't have one again. Just saying.
I'm almost no, I can't.
Oh, wait. Well, yeah. So, yeah, he's definitely one of the builders from the old ones that I'm like totally, yeah. There's not many people I would call myself fangirling over. He's definitely one of them. And he can take two pieces of metal and in like 2 minutes make it look like it was one. Like, yeah. And you're like, you just touched it. Like, how could you do this? He was like, look, there it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he's such an amazing teacher. And I'm not saying that because it's him, but he really explains it very so basic. Anybody who's never touched anything could totally follow along to any of his classes.
I'm gonna make sure that that Spence gets video tomorrow because I'm gonna be making a tutorial for his shrinking discs because he has shrinking discs.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have him take video so I can put it all together because the video he has, I think it's of Gene Winfield using his shrinking disc, and I was like, "Can you do that? Is that legal? I don't know." And I was like, "Just get it and take some pictures of him too, because
I think he still has a couple from Texas working for him. Okay. Super, super nice couple. Yeah, ask her. She's the office manager now. So he's now one of Gene's, so the couple moved to where Gene's shop is. And I'm pretty sure they were from Texas.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know this.
Yeah. And so she's now the shop manager. So, but yeah, it's, there's not many people I fangirl about Gene Winfield, definitely. And like at car shows, at trade shows, the young people our age at 11 o'clock are back in the friggin' hotel room. No, he's like selling fuzzy dices at 11 o'clock on the side of the road.
Books and videos and he's like, I know every time I see him, he's like he's doing some workshop, teaching some kind of work, and then he has he's not his TV show. He has the car show coming up. I'm like, how do you even have this much energy? Like I'm taking a nap, by the time 8 o'clock comes around. So.
I have to say we better hurry up and go see him because he's always said that his goal was to do car shows until he was 95. So he's now reached that goal.
Well, I'm going in 2 weeks, so don't say that. Yeah,
I mean it's Gene. He won't stop for a long time, but he does have a heart problem.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm always amazed at how many people. Badass. What's that?
I wish you guys could come out for that. That would be so badass.
It would be so awesome. Jesus. I use up my vacation days now. I have to work for a living.
I know, that stupid adulting thing gets in the way.
Right? Again, that topic's coming up. Being an adult. Being responsible.
Stupid. It's overrated.
Totally.
Car show every weekend, okay?
But yeah, so we wish I had to use up my vacation days. So now there's no last minute trips. I just saw Sheik's comment.
No, she's moving to California. She's mine.
Well, let's just say we're exploring different possibilities at the moment because due to the general political climate there's very few job sponsoring at the moment. And since neither one of us are American.
Years, haven't we?
What's that?
Haven't we talking about you moving for like 2 years now?
Yes. Well, we were supposed to start applying this summer. And the company stopped sponsoring in November.
Right.
So November 2019. I'm not saying what happened in November 2019, but think about this. What happens in November every 4 years in the States?
And it was a mistake. I'm just saying. Okay.
I don't care who you voted for. Just vote someone who's fucking gonna let me get in.
Well, just let me in, damn it. I don't even care who it is. Yeah.
I don't. Have you seen the clown we have? Come on.
It's not, grass is definitely not greener. I'm not.
No, it's not. No. Pascal calls a baby, a fun trust baby.
Oh, that's all right. He's probably Trump's friend. Who cares? I don't even care. If they're just not like running us, they're just not leading the countries properly. You know what I mean? I don't care where their money comes from, to be quite honest.
I don't care where the money comes from, and I don't care what color you're wearing. Mm-hmm. But you need to care about what's important to me. Mm-hmm. So we were exploring different stuff in Canada. And the more we look at the map, the more it doesn't look appealing.
Negative 45 coming up. Mm-hmm.
I know. And it really does. And that's in Celsius.
How do you guys do that shit, man? I'm sorry. Look I know you're going to laugh at me. It gets to be 60 degrees here, and I'm cold.
So, yeah, Tiffany.
Look, my buddy is like, he said something about it being like, like I think it was like 91 degrees today, stupid.
Oh,
that's like
the horror.
That's normal, right? And I think we had a really warm summer, and it got to be like 70 degrees during the day, and I was like, oh, I have to put a sweatshirt on. What's going on?
Oh my God. How'd you survive? Did you run? Was it like mass panic?
I was gonna get like my limbs were gonna fall off at that. Oh my God, how do we even survive? Good grief. But when it's so fucking hot, normally it gets down in the lower temperatures. I think it was like 50 degrees last night. I was like, oh, what is going on here? Is this not California? We're so spoiled.
Yeah.
And I had it. We had it in Arkansas, and I hated it. I do not like the cold. I forgot.
I don't. I don't. California. I've never liked the cold, and my body hates it even more. So, yeah. If you know anyone who wants to sponsor me in, we can negotiate.
You have to tell me what kind of company. Shoot, I'll be looking. Get your ass out here. Oh my God, that would be so fun. We'd be working hours all day. We'd do all the workshops. Like, don't tell me, man. If there's a will, there's a freaking way, man.
I've been looking for some very desperately for the last year.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and no, Sheik, I take the hot over that cold any day.
I don't know how you guys do it. You have to be like the most hardy of personalities, like to just endure it. I worked in North Carolina, and it was negative 22, which was insane to me. Like 70 degrees is cold to me. So to go to negative 22, I thought I was dying. That's like death to me. And I was outside on the roof, my eyelashes, because like I have full coverage, a full bodysuit, leggings, insulated coveralls, face shield, and I'm breathing under my safety glasses. And so like the condensation is on my eyelashes, and they're freezing. My eyelashes fucking froze.
But do you understand now though why as a kid, so to speak, like I was like, I don't want to work in a garage where the door opens 50 times a day?
No, I get it.
No.
I get it.
Kiko, yes. All right. Sorry. I never said a word.
Mom.
I don't know. Somebody wasn't happy. Somebody was doing something. Dogs are all pieced out now. It's all better.
I love it. Well, I know it's. Oh my God! I already knew we were gonna go 2 hours.
Oh, did we seriously? I know we've been on for a long time, but that would explain it.
I know. And I know it's getting late for you. Well, it's been late for you. You started late. But I wanted to finish out this ladies who are even interested remotely and maybe trying something different, going into like working on their vehicle. What would be some advice that you would give them if they're trying to do something different, like go out on their own, learn it, however you want to phrase it, like so that they're not. What kind of advice would you give them?
Super easy. Get the owner's manual, not especially the service manual, the owner's manual, Google, YouTube, and common sense. And a lot of patience.
Yes. Common sense. That's something that is very foreign idea these days.
It's not very common at all.
No, it's not. It's what's funny is I was raised on it. Like I had no choice. So when I see there's a lack thereof, you're like, it's common sense. Like you figure it out. Like why is this such a form? It's not. Good advice. No.
See?
No, very good advice.
I have my moments.
Well, what's cool about it though, Sophie, is that we didn't necessarily have the resources that everybody has now. So if you want to know how to change a tire, you find out how to change a tire. YouTube, baby. Like you have everything at your fingertips.
All right. Here's a test. Who knows what a Haynes manual is?
Oh, sorry. I have a Mazda one.
Really? We had ours until it went on the purge in my library. We had a whole bunch of them.
I love them. Every time we worked on a particular vehicle, I was like, oh, look, you know what I mean? Like it's
first car, as soon as you bought a car, yes. The first thing you did,
yes.
You went to Canadian Tire and you bought the Haynes manual.
Yes.
Then you had your car. Not until you bought the Haynes manual.
I never had a formal training when it came to breaking motors down. It was just my friends like, here, do it. Like, I don't know if it's like my ADHD loved puzzles and like always needed to be engaging in something. So like they would hand me something. So later on, when you gain a little bit more knowledge in your world, you're like, there should be a book to this, right? So you figure it out. So like when I came into the shop, every vehicle that we came across, we always had a manual on it, look it up, because we had to break the motors down. We had to put them back, had to diagnose them. And we weren't even mechanics like that. We did custom suspension, but like we had to work with them, to do the fabrication around it. So if we took it apart, we better know how to put it back together. You know what I mean? So.
And hope there's not many spare parts.
Library. Yes, read a book.
And yes, Jade, I agree. You missed the beginning of the conversation, but the earlier conversation were all about like not worrying about what people think, and if I want to wear a pink dress,
or a strap,
preferably not when I'm welding, because not smart. But if I want to wear a pink dress, then if that's what I want to wear, that's what I should wear. And if people don't like it, they shouldn't be looking.
Well, yeah, and we need to teach our sons too that just because somebody wears something in particular doesn't mean anything. Just means they're wearing a pink dress, Yeah,
agreed. But I was meaning more on the, well, she's such a tomboy. How dare she wear a dress?
I know.
Point of view that, yeah.
I'll never do it. You're never gonna please everybody. You just please your damn self,
But you're never gonna please everybody. But the people around you, you get tired of hearing the same thing over and over.
Sure. But that goes back to owning your confidence. You know what?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't have to qualify myself. You don't like it, don't freaking look. You know what I mean? Like at some stage, and some people get it early. I think I've seen the newer generation, they have a stronger personality like that, where I had to develop it getting older. I wasn't born like that. I can't even say that. I'm different. I don't necessarily adhere to that stereotype, but like you basically just stand comfortable with like, I don't really care, like that's, I don't have to qualify myself. Maybe I'm just a bit, I don't know, big-headed or who knows, but.
No, I think it matters what my friends think, what Pascal thinks, what, but some random stranger walking on the street.
No.
Do you know what? I'm still going to sleep well tonight. Thanks, though.
If they pay your bills, they don't have any type of impact in your world. Don't care.
No. And yeah, even if they're paying for my bills, if they're not my friends or considered my loved ones, I still don't care. Though I've never had that. Can that be a thing?
What?
Like, have someone pay your bills?
I would like it. That's called sugar.
Right? But like, I don't want none of that stuff. Like, no.
You just pay my bills. It's called a job. They pay your bills. You have to work. Adulting again, Sophie. We went right back to that naughty word. I was just trying to get advice, not go back to adulting. Okay,
she's trying to make me an adult, guys. Make her stop.
No way. I would never do that. I love it. Be independent, happy, and do it. Be comfortable. You know what? It's so easy to say that, but like when I think more oftentimes than not, when I have these interviews with the ladies, they are not comfortable or confident with what they do or where they stay.
In their work, or because they're being interviewed?
Do what? So
they're not comfortable in their work or their life choices, or because they're being interviewed? These are huge two differences.
No, not from me interviewing them. Like in their persona, in their life, like they still things when people tell them things, it hurts them, or like and I get that because at some point somebody tells you that every day, if it's your boss or your friends, you're gonna take it to heart. Well, you know what? You get new friends in. Fuck that. You know what I mean?
And even if I don't take it to heart, it doesn't mean it doesn't wear me down.
Sure.
There's a difference between Disney princess ugly cry in my pillow that we were talking earlier versus, do you know what? You're starting to be annoying.
Yeah.
Can you move along? There's a huge gap in between there, right? So yeah, there's a difference between being content with the choices I've made, or confident and owning it.
I think women as a whole need to stop trying to please everybody.
That would be a starting point.
Please ourselves a little bit more.
So we need to become bitches.
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm being totally joking. No, absolutely not.
But like, no, I think there is a happy medium. I don't think that.
I agree.
We don't have to be. I have a certain demeanor. You would probably think I was a bitch, but I just don't allow myself access to everybody because I preserve. My sanity. You cannot. I'm an empath, so I cannot. I just. I'm not.
When I started getting ill,
my energy to everybody.
Yeah, when I started getting ill in my 20s, I had only been with Pascal for a couple of years, and he was so amazing. But yeah, and I started getting ill, and I was like, I have so much. I can use my energy on this, or I can use the little bit of energy I have to work and spend time with my loved ones. Yeah. These are my options right now. So this is not your day. Move along.
Yes.
It really taught me though that, you know what? I don't have to do everything. And I don't feel guilty for saying no, today is not it.
Right.
I'm not doing it today.
That's a skill in itself though, because I know even when I was younger, I always wanted to help everybody. I always wanted to, I would everybody's pain and I wanted to save the world, and it hurts you physically, mentally, on some levels. And I learned as I got older that I couldn't do that. And I like, even Eliza will tell me now, like, you cannot save the entire world all by yourself, woman. Like, so I had to be very mindful of who I give my energy to. Yeah. Because
and that's what it is. If it's not
reciprocated, then they don't deserve you.
And is it that women tend to be more giving on that? And men tend to be quicker to say no. I'm not up to it today, so no. I don't know.
It's interesting how I see the newer generation reversing that cycle, which is interesting. Like they have the ability to not be such an empath, you know? Like they're more about themselves now, like as opposed to trying to please everybody. It's more about themselves, and they're more successful earlier on, and they don't necessarily have to adhere to having, you know, the stereotype, the family, the kids, the dogs, the picket fence. Screw all that. Get your money and your education and
Okay. Here's a funny story. Do you know how I decided that I started getting old in my head? Where I was like, geez, I think I'm getting old now. People stop finally asking me when I was just going to have kids.
Why is that even a question? Like,
there's priorities in life. There's finding a husband and having kids.
It's such an antiquated way. And I grew up that way. You know what I mean? But my daughter is actually going through that right now. And I was like, I don't care. Like, if you feel you're ready and you want to have them, have them. You know, like, don't feel pressure from me. There's no pressure from me. Like, have a cat. I don't freaking care. You know, like.
But the same applies too, that when you go in trades, then they say, if I hire a woman, you're going to get pregnant. You're going to go. So Canada has a year of mat leave. 1 year.
Really?
Yeah. Ooh. And wait, it gets better. In case a year wasn't long enough, if you take a pay cut into your benefits, you can get up to 1.5 or 2 years.
Wow. What?
Yeah. Yeah. So imagine now how you have your shop.
Like this. We'll have this conversation later.
I'm a woman. And you know what?
Like that.
And then that person, you cannot give that job up to someone.
Right.
Because that person's on mat leave. Legally, you're not allowed to give it to someone. So unless you're starting off.
Pero.
What's that? Oh, pero.
Yeah.
So unless you're starting off, not everybody wants to take a chance. Yeah. That being said, look at where Sarah Jean's shop worked. When she got pregnant, she didn't feel comfortable bothering and asking for a fresh air mask.
Right.
They bought her one and gave her one because she's a human growing a human.
Right.
And she's doing the job and she deserves it. End of conversation.
You know what? It's funny that I know the rabbit hole, you guys. So it's interesting.
This is why we've been talking forever already.
It's so interesting that you talk about that because, you know, that huge trending topic right now is bringing women into the workplace. Like, it's such a novelty, right? But it's interesting. Once we get them there, they don't necessarily provide for them the way that they should be provided for, right? So you do know women, they can make babies, right? So knowing this, just saying, it's a biological thing that happens with women. If you're going to actively recruit them into your workplace, you should be providing for them. They have children, not defame them, but don't
like reduce them or make them feel bad because they're pregnant.
Right.
They're having a baby. They're having their life. Right. They're working for their life. They're not living for their life.
I mean, that goes along with advocating for bringing women into the workplace. Yeah. They're going to have.
I mean, the men can take paternity leave here too, but realistically, most women take it.
Right.
Statistically, it's the women, but so. When they're pregnant, give them fresh air, give them whatever they need. Give them, like, when I was welding, I remember when I got to interview Jessie, she sent me a welding helmet of hers. And it was the first welding helmet that fit on my tiny head. I discovered this throughout the years. I have a head full of information, but very tiny. Petite. There's something about me that's petite. And like I would wear a bandana or two with a backwards hat, and I still could not because the mask would flip off. And all of a sudden, I'm like, the mask flips, and I can see stuff. I'm welding, and I'm like, dang, like this is what you people saw all along.
Oh, like that's so true.
But give them gear that fits them.
Vettel just said, I almost feel like we lose value to people when we become pregnant. Plus,
Yeah.
it also prevents women from wanting to go into trades jobs because
Yeah.
they're not valued, you know? Like they tell you they want you there, but when they get you there, they don't know how to treat you. Like
They don't know how to treat you, and you're higher risk in the fields than I am sitting in an office, which sucks because there's no pregnancy here. So it sucks for them. But you know what I mean, though? Like on the field, there are toxic air, there are toxins in the air, there's whatever trade you're in. Sitting in my home office, yeah, not much risk other than my dogs barking and asking to get in and out of the office.
No, but that's it's still another, like that's one of those deficits like that we look to with becoming a tradesperson on any spectrum, you know, like they don't provide for us. They don't. And I love when women say they've had a great they've had a great experience. I'm so happy for you because the majority of us have not. It's true. Like I am so happy for you. Like seriously. We all want to live vicariously through you because it just doesn't happen often.
But it's true.
Where do you
and
work?
That's the sad part.
Work there?
Like, why do I remember Sarah Jean's story about how impressive that shop was that bought her a fresh air mask before she even asked for it because she didn't feel comfortable asking for it. And they're like, but you're pregnant.
I love that's
I'm like, there's a thought.
Those kind of companies are like the companies I love to just hide. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
The one Bogey had a conversation, or she's working with Volvo now, and they actively like support women in the trades. And I'm like, to men, it doesn't mean it's no big deal because they're like, oh, you're just this, but we're not. Though we're not, and you don't get it because you're not a woman. So when we see these type of companies who actively champion for women, it means a lot to us because we don't necessarily have those rights. We have it on paper, but when it comes to action, it's not there, you know?
Because let me tell you, when I walk into a garage and when my husband walks in the garage, he gets a lot more respect. And you know what? I've been in the garage longer than him. I've been in the garage since I was 15. He grew up in a city. They didn't have a garage. They didn't have a car.
Nobody.
Me.
Most people don't get.
We corrupted him.
You know what's cool is that Chris of Unobtainium Welding, I don't know if you saw that interview, but he actually takes women apprentices because he loves their small motor skills, their attention to detail. And he loves having women. And so he like champions for it. So like those companies, I'm like, I love you. Like, can I work there?
Like, women are not treated equally. That's not how, that's what it says on paper, but that's not real life. It's a lot more of teasing of even people, my friends, sometimes I see them doing it and they're like, oh, are you good doing this? Yeah. I've done this like 50 times now. I'm good, but thanks. But they wouldn't check on the other guy next door to them.
Right.
Who's doing the same thing.
No, it's true.
Because I'm a girl. I mean, obviously I need help. Well, no, not especially, but thanks for offering, sort of. That's not really so,
like that backhanded offer, you know, like I think that's part of the reason why I don't feel like I need to qualify myself anymore. 10 years welding, 12 years in the fabrication. I'm like, I wouldn't have been here still if I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Like, when people see my javelin, they're like, and let me tell you, I didn't use epoxy on my paint job on the javelin with the fluctuating temperatures and stuff. The paint job's a couple years old, but already like there's a couple patches that I was like, oh damn, I should have spent a bit more time there. Like, do you know what I mean? But when I'm at car shows and I'm like, yeah, no, I painted, I do the paint. And they were like, really?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. But the guy, like one of my buddies says he painted his car and my paint job was better than his, though I can pick mine apart for the record. My paint job is still better than his. They're like, oh yeah, cool. Or like, yeah, of course you paint cars like your dude.
Like, give me some fucking credit. Look at, even Vettel said right now, Men go into her shop and she'll be standing next to the foreman. They'll shake his hand and won't acknowledge her. My boss would be like, "Hey, this is Veronica. She's one of our welders." That drives me crazy, dude.
Have you ever follow Ink and Aaron?
Yeah.
To the all-girls body shop in Toronto? So she has the garage. It's her shop.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband rents a spot and does metal work.
Oh, I love it. I did not know that.
Every time they go there, they go straight to her husband, and her husband's like, "It's her shop.
Yeah.
You need to talk to her."
I love it.
They're like, "But I need a quote on a car." Yeah, that's why you need to talk to her.
I had that for the first 6 months when I took over ownership at the shop. And I would get to the point where I would argue with the customer because I would answer the phone and they would think I was the secretary. And they'd be like, "I need to talk to the owner." "You're speaking to the owner." "Well, I need to talk to the man in charge." "No, the man is not in charge. He's welding right now. What do you need?" "Well, I need a full quote." And when you just blow their mind and they don't even know what the hell they're talking about because you get so technical on purpose just to flex your knowledge a little bit, then they're like, "Oh. Now, what's your budget?" Shut them up really quick. You know what I mean?
But it is one of those things where I almost feel that I'm always being I'm just being always over criticizing myself because I'm always like, I always have to do better to get that same recognition.
See, I just don't do it anymore. I won't.
I still do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I still do sometimes. Sometimes there's still a couple comments that are passed at car shows or at bike shows or when we're cruising or something. My bike that I have is a V-Star 1100, mm-hmm. and it's the bike that I learned on from my uncle. Mm-hmm. That's the only bike I've owned. I learned on 1100, mm-hmm. and I don't know how many people have told me that's a big bike for a girl.
Oh, God.
No, we get along fine, but thanks for worrying.
Yeah.
Or, wow, you ride that, huh? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it's a good thing you've been riding for a while. No, like 6 months now, but thanks. Because that means I'm riding pretty good, right?
I got it, I think. I think I know what I'm doing.
But when I get home sometimes, the conversation replay.
Sure. I could see that. I do that.
They replay and I'm like, was that necessary? Or was that what was that comment for? Or do you know what I mean? Like, I should have said this. And then the perfect comeback comes back and I'm like 5 hours later, damn, I should have said this.
You know what? I think there will be a time though, yeah. You won't even have to feel like you need to do that. It just
probably at one point. Because I mean, look at where we've gone in 50 years already.
But you know what, honestly, you say that, but then we have those conversations with Mary Jo, and she started welding before I was born, and she was like, "It really hasn't changed." And I'm like, "What?" And so I'm adamant. I'm making sure I'm visible to everybody and telling everybody my story and doing this just because I don't want in 50 years for my daughter or her friends, or if she has children or, kids next generation to see the same things that I still see.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? God gave me a big mouth for a reason and I'm fucking using it. So that's why I created the syndicate, and that's why I'm here after a year and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to just create more and more and more so that we can have normal conversations, and we won't talk about women welders. It's just going to be us welding or us working on our vehicles or us painting. Yeah. It's just going to be so normal. We don't have to qualify ourselves anyways. And that's my goal, because I hate.
And I think we need to close off your 1 year anniversary on that note, because that's such the perfect note.
I love you too, Beto. It's true, though. That's the way we have to have it. So that's the way I think we should. Goals.
Yep. I agree, though. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. There needs to be equality, and there needs to be the stop mocking everyone. It's not necessary for anybody. Really, it's not.
I missed all this, you guys. I'm sorry. I love all you guys, and I appreciate everybody tuning into our 2 hours. Look, it's the anniversary, and we're gonna talk all we want because it's my show.
Pascal was like, how long is it going to take him? Like an hour.
Tell him I'm so sorry. We are gonna wrap it up, you guys. I promise. Because on that note, we're here. We're not going nowhere. We're gonna make it normal. I appreciate you joining me for our 1-year anniversary. There's more
Happy anniversary.
We're celebrating the whole freaking month, you guys. I don't care. It's my Hey TJ, we love you. We're actually leaving. But thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time, Sophie. Aw, I love you, Vettel. And I will see you guys again next week. We're going to be celebrating again. And thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to tag, I was writing notes so I can make sure I tag all your peoples on this. But make sure you post this. And love you, girl. You know you're going to be hearing from me. So
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.